car. He's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot him. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah, he's like, yeah, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juby? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car.
The legal battle surrounding YNW Melly in Broward County is heating up quickly, with his lawyers presenting strong counter-arguments against the prosecutors to have him released from jail. Recently, a judge gave the Broward Sheriff's Office until December 16th to justify why YNW Melly should remain behind bars, following a 10-day extension request. If no valid reason is provided, YNW Melly could be released. In addition, Melly is hopeful that a new lawsuit filed on his behalf will help secure his freedom. The lawsuit claims that the Broward Sheriff's Office subjected him to cruel treatment and violated his constitutional rights. Melly, whose real name is Jamal Demons, stands accused of the 2018 murders of two of his childhood friends. For the past 3 years, he's been unable to speak to or see his family members, as stated in the lawsuit. However, what's most troubling is that Melly should have already been released. His lawyers argue that the extension was unjustified, pointing to key evidence from the original trial. This includes text messages Melly sent to his girlfriend in real time during the crime, while he was on the run and hiding in a bush to escape.
Melly hopes that a new lawsuit filed on his behalf gets him out of prison. The lawsuit accuses the Broward Sheriff's Office of cruel treatment and violating his constitutional rights. The rapper, whose real name is Jamal Demons, is accused of murdering two of his childhood friends back in 2018. Now, he hasn't been able to see or speak to any of his family members for the last 3 years.
YNW Melly has been facing severe mistreatment, which is why his mother decided to take legal action against the county jail. A recent report revealed that Melly has filed a lawsuit against the Broward Sheriff's Office for cruel and inhumane treatment and is demanding his immediate release from prison. In the lawsuit, he also claims that for the past 3 years, he has not been allowed to see or speak with any of his family members. An interview with Melly's mother paints a grim picture of his life behind bars, with her expressing deep concern that he may not be able to endure much longer in these conditions. She explained that he is not permitted to use a phone or even view his own mail. She described the isolation he faces, saying, "My son has not been convicted of anything. Even other inmates who have been convicted of crimes are allowed basic rights like making phone calls or writing letters to their loved ones. They can receive their mail, but not my son." YNW Melly's situation sparked strong reactions, including from Charleston White, who voiced his opinion on the rapper's treatment. White argued that Melly should not be given special treatment just because he's a rapper, especially given the serious nature of the charges against him. He expressed his approval of Melly being mistreated in jail, saying, "I'm so happy he's in jail getting mistreated, homie. When you take a life, you don't have the right to complain about anything, especially not about being mistreated when you've chosen to take someone's life." This harsh stance upset Melly's mother, Jamie King, who responded with deep sadness and frustration. She revealed that she is heartbroken for her son, feeling utterly helpless as she watches him endure inhumane conditions. She emphasized that Melly is not even being treated like a human being inside the jail, adding to her sense of despair over the entire situation. Boozy reflected on the stress Jamie King was going through, noting that it reminded him of his own mother's struggles. But just as the outpouring of support for YNW Melly was gaining momentum among fellow rappers and fans, everything came to a halt when an unfinished draft of a 6-page evidence file from the prosecution was leaked. This file outlined the reasons why Melly should not be released from jail, and once the details surfaced, it shifted the public narrative.
When they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted them bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh, right, yeah.
They waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. I just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
Yeah.
That made me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, after a mistrial, that doesn't happen.
The story of YNW Melly's treatment in jail quickly went viral, with many rappers showing support for him as they saw the immense struggles he's facing behind bars. Despite the backlash from figures like Charleston White, Melly's supporters rallied around him, recognizing the severe toll it's taken on his mental and emotional well-being. Boozy, who has had a personal connection to the situation, spoke out about the stress Melly's mother, Jamie King, has been enduring. He shared a heartfelt account of meeting her while Melly was incarcerated. Boozy described Jamie as a strong yet clearly distressed woman, saying, "I met his mom while he was in, and she was real, bro. You could tell she's real stressed out. I heard she had it tough. She's real." The text messages found on YNW Melly's phone added to the mounting evidence against him. After the crime, Melly reportedly responded to a message from PZ Gambino's account, admitting his involvement, saying, "I did that," followed by a smiley face emoji. Another message from the same day, October 26, 2018, at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, showed the YNW Melly account responding with a cryptic "what?" followed by a string of sheesh. This exchange raised alarm bells for the prosecution. In addition to these texts, a disturbing video was discovered on Melly's phone, recorded just 6 hours after the murders. The footage, taken from someone's Facebook live stream, shows Melly and his co-defendant, in Borland, dancing in a parking lot, acting carefree and seemingly unaffected by the violent events that had just transpired. The two are seen celebrating, with music playing in the background, completely indifferent to the tragedy that had occurred earlier that morning. Melly's defense in court was that the video was part of a scheduled music video shoot, which he claimed had to go on as planned for business reasons, with no time to delay. However, the video doesn't capture a shred of remorse or sadness for the deaths of their two close friends, which many found troubling. Instead, it raises the question, how could Melly and Borland act so positive and
not been convicted of anything? And even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
Upbeat after such a horrific act. When considering this video alongside the alleged motive for the murders, the case takes a much darker turn. YNW Melly was reportedly very close to rapper King Von before his arrest. Recently, a member of the O Block crew revealed a confidential conversation between Melly and King Von from years earlier. In this conversation, Melly allegedly sought advice from Von on how to handle a situation in which his two best friends were coming after him for financial reasons. In a candid conversation with King Von, YNW Melly reportedly expressed frustration about the betrayal from his two friends, Sack Chaser and Juvie, who, according to Melly, were attempting to extort him. Von, understanding the pressure of such a situation, allegedly gave Melly advice on how to deal with it. However, the question arose, if these two friends were indeed trying to extort Melly, why did he continue to keep them around? The alleged motive for the murders involves the dynamics within the YNW group, which operated as a registered LLC business. The group, consisting of Melly, Borland, Sack Chaser, and Juvie, would perform concerts, sell merchandise, and handle promotions for companies in exchange for money. This money was funneled through the business's official account. However, Sack Chaser and Juvie, feeling entitled to a share, allegedly wanted a cut of the profits, despite Melly and Borland being the ones generating the bulk of the revenue. The tension over financial matters reportedly escalated, and if you know anything about King Von's history, you can likely guess the kind of advice he might have given Melly on how to handle betrayal from those closest to him. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the prosecution focused on the physical evidence of the crime, particularly the vehicle involved in the incident. During the original trial, Sergeant Williams presented compelling details about the nature of the shooting. He emphasized that the crime couldn't have been a drive-by shooting, as the person responsible must have been sitting in the back left seat of the vehicle. Williams explained that based on the trajectory of the bullets, it was clear that one of the rounds was fired from a stationary position, which indicated that the shooter was in the back seat, not outside the car. Williams also pointed out that there was no evidence suggesting that the shots came from outside the car, particularly from the driver's side or the rear seat. When asked if it was possible for two shooters to have been inside the car, Williams firmly denied it, explaining that the evidence only pointed to a single shooter sitting in the back seat on the left side of the vehicle. This crucial piece of evidence further complicated Melly's defense, as it suggested a more deliberate and personal execution of the crime rather than an impersonal drive-by.
Melly, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing, about being mistreated. When you done chose to play
During the original trial, YNW Juvie's mother, Miss Phillips, took the stand and provided critical testimony about the vehicle involved in the crime. When asked if she was related to one of the victims, she confirmed she was, explaining that her son, Christopher, was one of the people in the vehicle that day. The questioning then turned to the details of vehicle's occupants. The prosecutor asked if Miss Phillips recognized who entered the Jeep, to which she replied affirmatively. During the trial, as tensions around YNW Melly's case continued to rise, the focus shifted, creating new layers of intrigue. One critical moment came when YNW Melly's partner, Ian Borland, became the target of a federal investigation. This move raised suspicions and added pressure to the already complex legal proceedings, which ultimately influenced the judge's decision on whether to grant an extension for Melly's release. In a surprising twist, the authorities arrested Ian Borland on an outstanding warrant, which fueled speculation that the case was becoming increasingly tangled. Borland, Melly's co-defendant, was booked into a Miami jail on Monday night after the Broward County warrant for his arrest was executed. The charges against him were serious, revolving around witness tampering, a crime that could significantly impact Melly's defense. The warrant, which was obtained by Long Crime Network, detailed how Borland allegedly engaged in misconduct between April 10, 2023 and July 22, 2023, with the intent to persuade a witness to withhold testimony. This was a critical period as jury selection for Melly's trial had begun in mid-April, and the trial itself was expected to move forward soon after. The specific dates of the alleged witness tampering were especially significant because they coincided with key moments in the trial. On July 22, 2023, the same day the warrant claims Borland interfered with a witness, a judge declared a mistrial in Melly's case. This raised the possibility that the tampering could have had an impact on the proceedings, adding further complexity to the situation. To make matters even more suspicious, Borland's home was raided by federal agents who discovered troubling evidence papers and documents stuffed into a random suitcase. These documents were reportedly linked to Borland's involvement in the original trial and
Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they
may have contained sensitive information related to the witness in question. During the investigation into YNW Borland, authorities uncovered some alarming evidence that further complicated the already tense legal situation. Among the items seized during the raid of Borland's home were notes he had apparently written about the jurors in the original YNW Melly trial. On a piece of paper, Borland had detailed descriptions of the jurors, including what they looked like, where they were sitting, and other minor, but potentially dangerous details. This discovery raised serious questions about the integrity of the trial and the potential for witness intimidation or jury tampering. DJ Academics, reacting to the news, couldn't hide his disbelief. He shared his reaction with his audience, expressing how sloppy it was for Borland to have such sensitive information in his home. How the hell are you going to have the notebook with the jurors' names and details about them in your house? Like, goddamn! Academics exclaimed. He compared it to having surveillance footage from a crime scene in your own DVD player, highlighting just how reckless the situation appeared. This can't be it. How do you have this stuff in your crib? He added. The discovery was not just an oversight, it raised serious concerns about the possibility of witness tampering or even threats to the jurors' safety. If YNW Melly were to be convicted and sentenced to life in prison, the piece of paper detailing the jurors' information could have been passed to individuals in the street who might seek to exact revenge on behalf of Melly, potentially jeopardizing the entire legal process. This is why jurors are typically kept anonymous with fake names and restricted access to their personal information to protect them from any potential harm or intimidation.